You need to be aware of the input VAT rules and regulations in the UAE. If a non-recoverable input VAT has been claimed, then this will attract penalties, and correcting this will take a lot of time and effort. Hey everyone, before we move ahead, please click on the subscribe button to stay updated on our weekly business and finance related content, which is incredibly useful for business owners, CEOs, CFOs, entrepreneurs, and those who aspire to be one. Now let's get back to the video. One of the most commonly asked questions by our clients is if certain expenses are recoverable or not recoverable for VAT. So in today's video, we'll be focusing on the 5 most commonly asked questions on non-recoverable input VAT. You need to be aware of the input VAT rules and regulations in the UAE. If a non-recoverable input VAT has been claimed, then this will attract penalties, and correcting this will take a lot of time and effort. So let's get into the first question. We have a lot of client meetings in the year. So can the expenses that have been incurred for these meetings, like refreshments and food, be claimed for VAT? This really depends. If the food and drinks provided is in the normal course of the business, then they can be recovered. The FTA has provided some guidance on this matter as well. The input VAT can be recovered if the hospitality is provided in the same venue as the meeting, if the meeting is interrupted, only a short break for the provision of the hospitality and then resumes as normal, example lunch break. The cost per head for providing the hospitality does not exceed the internal policy of the business that normally takes place around employee subsistence claims, where available. The food and beverage provided is not accompanied by any form of entertainment, example motivational speaker or a live band. However, if the expenses on food and refreshments are not considered substantial, then they cannot be claimed. The concept here is fairly simple. The FTA does not want businesses to spend extravagant amount on meetings and claim them for input VAT. Are VAT on miscellaneous office expenses like pantry expenses claimable for VAT? Yes. Normal office expenses that are being used by the employees or the visitors of the company can be claimed. The FTA has provided some examples for some guidance on this matter. Some of the recoverable examples are tea and coffee available in the office during the meetings for general use by the employees and non-employees for no charge. Flowers for display in the reception, office or decoration during special events. Dates, chocolates or equivalent snacks which may be available in the office during the meeting for general use by employees or non-employees for no charge. The next question is, our company has decided to throw an office party for its employees. Can the expenses on this be claimed for VAT? No. In general, entertainment expenses that have been incurred by the company for its employees cannot be claimed. Any expenses that the company incurs which is provided to the employees for free of charge cannot be claimed unless it is a legal obligation to provide these services or goods to these employees under any applicable labor law in the UAE or designated zone in which the entity is. It is a contractual obligation or documented policy to provide these services or goods to these employees so that they may perform their role and it may be proven to be normal business practice in the course of employing such people, where the provision of goods or services is a deemed supply under the provision of the decree law. A common question that business owners have is that we have purchased a car for business purposes. Can the VAT on such expenses be claimed? No. These expenses are treated as non-recoverable. If a motor vehicle is purchased or leased for business purposes but is also available for personal use, then such an expense cannot be recovered. In most cases in UAE, cars are purchased by companies for business purposes. However, the assigned person does use it for personal purpose as well. If I provide exempt supplies, can I recover the input VAT? No. VAT on any expenses that is directly in connection with exempt supplies cannot be claimed. There are cases where you would have the same expense which is in connection to exempt supplies and 0 or 5% sales. In such a case, the input VAT must be apportioned. A portion of this VAT will be claimed which is in connection with the 5% or 0% sale, and the portion which is in connection with the exempt supplies cannot be claimed. When in doubt, it's always advisable not to recover the input VAT. I hope this video gave you a better idea of what kind of expenses can be claimed and what cannot. Hey everyone, you've reached the end of this video. Thank you all for listening. If you like this content, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. If you'd like for us to talk about any specific topics, please do let us know in the comments below. Hope to see you in the next video.